Oh, Shannon, dear. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Children of the Most High. The host.
Being the host is gone.
I don't
Where
know
is the
why.
host of the show?
Good morning, Diana. I see you out there. I don't know. I see her mic is muted. There she goes.
Oh,
Welcome, Shannon. Welcome.
It's
see,
still muted. Can you hear me?
We hear you fine.
Okay. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Children of the Most High. And it just wouldn't be a Children of the Most High show without some technical difficulties. So, hello. I am so excited that we have a special guest with us today. That would be our supernatural, also logic before authority, Daniel Alexander Cannon. See what's up?
I had to finally make it on one. I thought I missed it, but luckily y'all guys got tied up. And I was able to be on here.
Yes, as you see, we are here a bit early today, but we will be premiering this show at 6:30 for all of you, those of you who, are used to that time. But anyways, I also needed to
Diana.
introduce Roxy, the the hostess with the mostest.
Care Bear with a switchblade, baby. Good morning. Good morning.
She's
You'll
like
have to
she's
excuse
like the opposite of Chucky, except for uh the good side of Chucky still carries a switchblade.
That's funny.
Well, we all good. It's
I'm not
love in
sure
the
she thought.
hood,
I'm not
but
sure
don't
she
make me
thought it.
touch you.
You'll have to excuse me. I am extra jovial today. I had an amazing day with one of our viewers and one of our new besties. I'm just going to give a shout out to Rye. We played like little kids yesterday in the outside in the sunshine, and for me that was huge. It was a huge accomplishment because I've been stuck in this house for like a month, and I just wanted to say thank you, Rye, for like the best day ever. We played, we sang. It was just, it was beautiful and magical. And sometimes we forget to act like little kids. We forget to go back to
Forget to
childhood
have
and
mercy.
just let it go, just let it go and be you, have fun. And I just want to encourage everybody because adulting is not fun. It is so hard. And sometimes we just need to go out and be free. So I encourage
Yeah.
you all to take some time to do that in the upcoming days. Let it go. Just let it go.
Roxy and I grew up together. What was our favorite thing to do when we were kids, Roxy? Do you remember?
Outside. Anything outside.
Well, yeah, outside, but what? What did we do?
We done a lot.
What's a couple of memories that stand out? We like to
Oh,
climb trees.
we got in trouble for that a lot. A
You
lot.
remember? You remember the one we climbed in your mama's backyard, and we had, I think we had like a board up in the tree, and we was like hanging up there
And a fire pole.
swinging on some, yeah, and a fire pole so we could spin down it, and we were swinging on the vines and having a good old time. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember your emergency room trip that night. We built the tree in a tree covered with poison ivy.
Yep, yep,
I'm gonna actually try something here.
yep. Poison ivy in the tree. The vines we were swinging on and hanging on to the poison ivy.
Eat up
Y-
with it. Didn't bother
Yep.
me.
No, didn't bother Roxy at all, but it sure burned me down. That happened to me one time when I was about 3 or 4 years old. Also, down in Georgia. Mama went to Georgia. Mama went down to Georgia. She was willing to make a deal. We were staying in the trailer park, way up on the hill. Little Daniel,
Oh, I love it.
little Daniel seen a fly in the window, and the fright struck him strong. So he slapped the window and busted the window right out the hole. Got in trouble.
You
And
think?
then he played with the neighbor kids and climbed on some great big vines. Later to find out it was poison ivy.
Oh no.
And he swelled up like a bullfrog. My neck was all swollen out to here. I had blisters all over my arms, hands. I used to be so allergic to poison ivy, the neighbor could burn it in their yard, and I'd break out. It was bad.
My daddy come by that day and told us, he said, y'all gonna regret that tomorrow. I thought he was gonna make us take it down. I guess he was trying to tell us there was poison ivy in it, but he was one of them people that was just kind of like, play around and find out.
He said, let's let them learn a lesson. It ain't
Yep.
gonna kill them.
No.
It ain't gonna kill them, but they're gonna wish they was dead for about 2 days.
Well, before we get started, I got a birthday shout out
Oh,
that was requested for Jeannie Anderson in Texas with True Grit Foundation. Happy birthday.
happy birthday.
Truth Code, Diana says, very cool intro.
Thank you. It's an original. That song is called An Angel's Prayer, and me and my amazing producer slash bestie slash ride or die forever also co-wrote that with me. We're still working on it. There's going to be extra added on eventually, and Daniel here made that video, which there's something very special about that video that he didn't even know when he made it. But
I
that
knew.
little
I just
girl,
didn't. You just didn't tell me,
yeah,
but I knew.
the little girl scene and with the forest around it and the field of flowers, that was my mom had that dream, like exact dream, when I wasn't born yet, and that she was told my name by God. It was whispered into her in that dream, and so when he put that in the sequence, my mom and I both lost it. So it just a very supernatural, Holy Spirit filled song and video. So that's my intro.
Yeah, it was fun. If there's anybody out there that needs an intro made for them, I can do those kind of things.
Super talented, Daniel. Ooh.
Y'all, me and Shannon been.
Y'all see the size of my head? It don't need to get no bigger. I mean, literally, I was the first bobblehead there ever was. When I was a kid, it was like a bobblehead. I had this little body, my gigantic head. I was walking around.
It's that forehead we got, man. We don't have a forehead. We got a 5 head.
Yeah, we got the 5 head going on.
Have you guys seen the movie So I Married an Axe Murderer? So head
5 head. Do you see this full 5 head?
It's huge. Okay. Anyways, I did say I was extra jovial today, guys. I did give you that warning. So, anyways, we're gonna get on topic. I promise. Today, I know we've been doing the pluribus thing, so we're just gonna kind of briefly go through the last episode here because right, it's the last one. 7, pretty sure.
I didn't even put it on our logo today. I just put clones in there.
Well,
I
then
didn't
never
put
mind.
on it.
We'll save that for Tuesday.
Next time.
Next. All right. So, as you are all aware, so many files have dropped with the Epi guy, and Miss Roxy here has diligently spent just hours upon hours going through a lot of these documents. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us truthers out in this community have been shouting out at the top of our lungs about a lot of these subject matters. And, as we love our fact checkers, so many things have always been like, oh, that's debunked. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, how could you get that out of pizza?
You've lost your noodle, dear.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, you're just, conspiracy theorist, whatever. So now that all this stuff is coming out, people can't really turn their eyes around. They can't close their eyes. I'm having a hard time talking. They cannot look away anymore because it's so out there in the public eye. Everybody's talking about it. There's obviously some sick people who run our world. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And a few of the subject matters really delves into the whole NPC thing we've been talking about in several of our shows. And what I think is important to say right now is that the information that comes out right now is extremely traumatic. So take everything a step at a time. Ask God to give you the strength to get through these things without disturbing your spirit, because it's important to see this. It's important to understand what reality of this world really is and what really goes on, but you need to take care of you, and you need to take it in strides, and you need to process it, and you need to make sure it's not going to compartmentalize you, and it's going to help to reconnect things, because we have all gone through our own MKs. Every single one of us. The degrees may be varied. The degrees are varied, but we've all been MK'd, guys. Every single one of us. So as we take in this information, be good to you and take it in strides and process the information so you don't compartmentalize and that you don't end up being conditioned into these things. And it that's what that trauma can do to you. So I just wanted to put that out there, as I like to say. And I'm going to turn it over to Roxy here so she can kind of go over a few of the things that we're about to talk about.
Well, some of the things we're going to talk about, we know that we've all talked about the fact of what they've been doing in some of these medical labs and secret places up underground. What you're fixing to find out in the weeks coming is how far, how deep, how wide, and how much more sick than we ever thought it was. We've been pretty far down the rabbit hole, guys. I mean, we got a good understanding of what all this disaster is that's being laid out before us. But there's more to it than we ever thought, more than we ever knew. Good and bad. There's some good things that are being released and some bad stuff. All of that stuff's bad. We know it is. There are um, places that have been seized. I'm going to be careful with this lexicon, that were taken from people. And when we've looked at those LiDAR scans of the pyramids over there, how it looks like there's so much up under it. Well, that so much up under it is right up under your feet and my feet. When you go into towns, you go into suburbs, you go into neighborhoods. And these just aren't tunnels. These are full on cities with dormitories and labs and processing centers. And when I say processing centers, they ain't processing microchips, sweetheart. They they have a full blown um, manufacturing facility worldwide, because we keep hearing this number 800,000 from the U.S. Wait a minute, that's just the U.S., folks.
Yeah, and that's the documented.
Documented. That's
Doc.
the ones. That's the ones we know that are documented as missing. That's not the ones that they're growing underground. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in a petri dish, but you got to realize some of this 800,000 that is taken are used as breeders
Mhm.
and cloning and testing. Shannon?
Sounds like a bad movie.
Well, I was gonna say, you all remember Clone Wars. I mean, what is one of the top grossing franchises of all time in movie and film history that continues to just keep pumping out more and more stuff? and that would be Star Wars. Well, when the Clone Wars came out, that's like literally exactly what's happening. They're telling you to your face. They are building an army of these NPCs to come in and just be like, hey, and they're here. People know it. They see it now. It's so obvious that there are literal beings in your everyday that are soulless, that are just literally, there's
Fill in
no
space.
soul there.
Fill in space.
And, we see a lot of stuff on, our screens that we can try and debunk in our heads, or, shrug off and be like, oh, that's not real, or that's some kind of glitch, or blah, blah, blah. But when you see it in real life, with your own eyeballs, with other witnesses around, and you see that there is no soul and there's something wrong with their eyes, you know that these things exist in your everyday world. And a lot of these Truman Show type cities are, training grounds to integrate them into society. So you've got the NPCs living with the already in the brotherhoods, family members and people, all living together in the training grounds.
So what's the purpose of the NPCs? I mean,
Well,
what are they doing for the people who made them?
it's a good question.
And what's the
Worker
purpose?
bees. Worker bees.
So is their purpose ultimately to replace us? Because
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
they're trying to get rid of us.
of course.
So then that would be their purpose. So they still have their mind controlled, completely enslaved, soulless worker bees. See, and I'm not going to take over here, but in a when you
Please
study
do. You're our guest.
when you study nature and you look at uh, hive-minded creatures, okay, like bees, the queen is the queen, and then there are the drones, and then there are the worker bees. The worker bees are the NPCs. They have little value. Um, they have value, big value to the hive overall, but individually they have no value. And I highly suspect that that's what they want, and it's obvious that's what they want is worker bees or worker NPCs that will not question the conditions or the systems or anything, because here we are, a good example of uh, real men that are questioning and are not going along with everything. We're not paying taxes like we're supposed to. Uh, we're not buying the products that they want us to buy. They you know what I'm saying? So I think the answer to that question is they're replacing us. So
I,
the 500 million that the Georgia Guidestone spoke about, it didn't say 500 million men left. Or, I don't like the word human anymore because Roxy pointed out, because it's true. Human is the shade of a man, but not a real man.
well,
The human is maybe the NPCs.
well, here's another thought too to go on top of that. Um, I would even suggest DNA harvesting, because how many of those NPCs are with other individuals in relationships or in other situations where they could harvest DNA?
That reminds me of the movie with Tom Cruise where they had the orbs flying around, and they had Tom Cruise. He was a clone,
Yeah.
and they had him matched up with a girl that
Mhm.
was his
Similar.
his
Significant other.
mate.
Hmm.
Was she a clone?
I don't know if she was a clone. They never explain that. But
And
there
then,
are
then
several of the handlers.
and then they had a boss that was in charge of them. This lady that they would go to on the computer, and they would talk to her. And then towards the end of the movie, it let you know that she was an AI. She was not even an NPC. She was literally
AI.
digital, and she was the boss. And they were what okay. What were the drones that were going around on the planet shooting things up? What were the drones trying to kill?
The real people.
The real men, the real women. They were trying to kill them. And what were they replacing them with? Clones that didn't ask questions.
Exactly.
Oh Lord, thank you, Jesus.
See, isn't it amazing when we put all our little heads together here?
I give all the credit to Father in heaven because
all credit to the Most High.
secondary, I would say I give the credit to people who have supported my work over the years, because I wouldn't have been able to get to this point where I can see these things if it wasn't for the support that people have given me. So I thank every one of you, like some of the ones here in the comments. I know y'all guys have all supported it, including Roxy and Shannon. So number one, credit Most High. Number two, y'all guys, every one of you.
So Miss Roxy being all quiet in the corner. What you got to say?
That's temporary.
Whatever, dude. Don't get me started. I'll come kick you in the ankle. I'll get the police to come kick you in the ankle. How about that? You're just gonna want to take a nap on your couch. We're talking about my baby girl. She works in Daniel's area. I'll get her to go get Uncle Danny. I don't know. I know I want to express that there are some people that are going to start seeing this show, and they're going to lose their noodle. They're not going to believe it. They're not going to understand it. They're not even going to know where to start. So I want to give this guidance, and this is one way I have found to try to organize my thoughts on this with what I'm finding. I'm not digging hard in there. The way I'm going to the DOJ files and looking at it, there is a search box there. You can put in one word. It will query everything that has that word attached in it, whether it's in a positive manner or just in conversation. If you put in the name John, every time the name John was in an email for any reason, it comes up. So rather than searching for all the people that we know is in there, I'm not worried about names. I have now turned around and started making lists of all of the questions we've had about rabbit holes and psyops, and then I turn around and go back and search that word, and it brings up the documents. And there are documents in there with him and old Billy Boy, and they talking about some genetic stuff. And in that genetic stuff, between old Jeffrey and his friends and some other people, they are talking about how that they can alter the hormonal level of an in uterine baby to make sure that its hormones are so off balance that a boy will want to be a girl and a girl will want to be a boy. Well, old Billy comes in to put some fuel on the fire with his sticky pokies to make sure that that happens. And this is what I'm trying to tell you that they've been perfecting in those underground cities, guys. These There are people all over the country on some of these social media sites. It's like, why is the ground rumbling? It just feels like it's a constant vibration. Just because they going under your feet. If it's out on the surface where you're at, it is too easy to see when you drive by or somebody flies a drone. They gonna ask questions. Why'd they build that warehouse over there? So they went underground.
And they've been doing this for years. I don't
Years.
know if any of you have heard of
Decades.
the phenomenon.
Decades.
Right? Have any of you heard of the phenomenon of where there's just people who constantly hear this low hum. It drives them insane, and it happens like all across the world. But there's just been an uptick of these reports since the 70s, just exponentially, to where it's like they live in a home where nonstop a constant low hum is just driving them nuts. And we've heard it here in our home. It drives Andy insane. My husband, he'll sometimes just like out of nowhere pop up and be like, "What is that?" There's just this low hum. I can't stop, and it disturbs his sleep. But this is part of it. They've been underground for a long time. And I wouldn't even say creating tunnels. I would say reconstructing new ways to
Repurposing.
get in old places.
Well, and always remember, anytime you have a country that doesn't matter what country, what continent, if they've ever had any type of war on their land or civil war, whatever, there were tunnels. There will always
Mhm.
be tunnels because they have to have a way to transport goods to their own military in the event of a surface war. That's the reason you have tunnels. But if you will go back, and these maps were showed years ago, and I'm over here scrolling trying to find one of them, and I can't. But people used to take the map of America that shows you where children most prevalently went missing. If you take the same map of the cave system in America, they match hotspot lines where they go missing, the areas. There are lists in these files that are listed by zip code, how many children to take, how often, which ones to go look for by their genetics, which ones they prefer, what they want from that zip code. Do they want a white girl? Do they want a little African American male? There's lists, pages and pages and pages of books of people that they were paying and recruiting to go out and take these children. When you go to jail for being an offender, if you are an offender who has offended a couple of times, they will reach out to you to bring you into their club because people who accommodate that kind of lifestyle are more likely to work with them to do what they do. They are monsters. So my call is to all you mama bears out there, all you grandmas, you aunts, you uncles, you brothers, sisters, cousins, nephews. If there are children in your family, put your eyes on them. Don't take them off of them at any time. Not in Walmart, not in the grocery store, not at the skating ring. It only
Well,
takes 5 seconds and your baby's gone.
and I encourage all of you who have experience or have memories of things to please give your testimony, because this is the hardest thing. So many people, so many survivors of these things who have come out and said things, they end up being victim shamed, all these things. People don't believe them. But the more and more and more of us who come out, who have experience in these things with our testimony, it really will help so many others to not only remember things or to heal, but also to encourage them to speak out, because we all need to work together to help wake those up who are still asleep. So I was on a soapbox. Sorry.
You know, evil men can only do evil things when the honest men say nothing and just let
Right.
them do it. That's
It
what's
just
got us where we're at now is by
Absolutely.
no one being willing to take a risk.
well, and
You
that's the thing, is they terrify you to stay quiet. Don't let them have power over you anymore.
Well,
Don't
and
be quiet, because that's what keeps perpetuating the situations, is that fear that they've put in us to be afraid of them. And when God is on your side, there is nobody who can touch you.
does anybody know what the actual original reason was for having court jesters?
I
You
mean,
know,
I have my
Not
thoughts.
well,
sure.
back in when we had royalty, you got kings and queens and castles and stuff back in those centuries. There was two different type of actors, and I'm gonna put it like that, that put on the show. You had court jesters, and then you had actors who went town to town giving plays. Which back then, if you went town to town giving a play, most of the time it was based off of real events. You were spreading the news. You were making a show out of it, but you were spreading the news. Court jesters had a whole different thing. They were not there to entertain. They were a gauge. Hey, Clayton. They
Yay.
were they were a morality gauge. If the court jester did something that was crude in front of the gallery of people, and whoever was the royalty, the king or the queen or the whatever, and the people were not like, "Oh God, you can't do that." If they were not like that, they had just gauged what the morality of the crowd was and what they could get away with. It's the depravity meter. That's what a court jester is. And I give you this in relation to all of these musicians and stars and
Comedians.
and
Mm.
influencers who have got up there and said what they said and tested morality. It is the same thing that leads back to the creepy uncle that tells dirty jokes in front of kids.
And a lot of
Well,
times it
can-
is the influencer, the people on YouTube and stuff that are being funny when they're talking about these things. I was researching and thinking about some things. It's been about a week now, so I can't remember clearly. But comedy, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Roxy, about the court gesture thing. Comedy has been used because the creepy uncle, he made it funny, didn't he?
Hmm. And then you
Comedy
thought you
has
was in
been
this
used.
secret club with the creepy uncle because he let you see his playboys. No, he was
Mhm.
a pedo, people, all day long. PDF, pedo. Should have been took out back and just and
well,
fixed him.
to the court jester and the regalia that he wore, he was modeled after a specific demonic spirit,
Hmm.
um, of the Nephilim, which
That's what
is over and over again when you those who have done things like DMT or other hallucinogenic type of things, they often have encounters with a jester type spirit. And so it's propagating that spirit out to the public as well. So it's like that dual purpose. Yes, it's gauging and conditioning, but it's also spreading that spirit through the regalia and the actions and all of that.
Well,
And
and
interestingly
story
enough,
that
the court jester was the only one allowed to actually make fun of the king. Because
mhm.
that's like you would get your head cut off, for making fun of the king. But the
that's
court,
why a deck of cards has a joker in it, and it can be
right?
anything. The joker can be anything,
Hmm. And
and
he
you can get
usually
away with anything
he would
because he's the joker. He's funny.
right,
He's the chameleon. He can be anything.
and he would have a dual purpose as also a confidant or someone to give advice to the king through spiritual means. And a lot of people don't know that about the court gesture. They just think he was a
Well, he
ridiculous.
wears the wizard hat normally.
Well, and
The magi hat or the wizard hat. He wears that.
see, they've taken the actor and
Well, they
turned
have.
them into the jester now that they can gauge things by data. Because if you take a sitcom or a movie or a murder mystery series and you see that there are millions of people that are turned in like nonstop on these murder mysteries, you're gauging their morality, what interests them, what piques their interest. Be careful what you're watching. Be careful who you're watching. Be careful who you're listening to.
That's
Be careful in general.
yep. All that subliminal stuff we've talked about for so long. I mean, it's just riddled in every little bit of it. It's programming you, it's indoctrinating you, it's all of that. But like on the whole cloning thing, I do find it very interesting when you go down the rabbit holes of these companies that have existed for quite some time. There's one in Canada that has been very out in the open. They're the ones that I believe helped to create Eve, the first cloned, like that they said out in the open child to be born. Well, there's this one rapper who has been out there for years saying that he is an actual clone. He came from that facility. He's like the fifth generation or something like that. And he's been very out in the open about it. And he even at one point, got a chip in his hand, like on in the public, whatever, to promote it, and he's just been totally out there about like, yeah, I'm a clone and here's how it all goes, and
Well, there's
nobody
5 Britneys I know of. Mhm.
and Brittany, like the real Brittany, I've been praying for you, girl. Been praying for you, girl.
We're all praying for her
Hmm.
because she was targeted. They went after her. They got her, and all of these horrible things that you're seeing, they done that to that young lady.
We got to pray for a lot for these people who have been born into this. There are some real genuine people and souls that are still battling trying to get out. So take a moment and pray for them because they were born into this.
and did not have a choice about it.
Exactly.
And but now Brittany's probably at the age where her mind's maturing and she sees it now, and she's probably like, "Oh my God," I think she's been going through that for quite a while.
Wow.
Well, and there are some people out there who have never experienced or don't have any depth to understand what traumatizing can do to your mental state. But let me give you another one. And I know you've all heard of this, even if you can't relate to what's in those files. There are people out there that are in relationships. And in those relationships, you see things or you feel things and you know something's just not right. But when you bring it up, the other person says, "Oh, no, you're just making too much of it. No, don't worry about it. That's not what really happened." And you keep believing what they're telling you until you don't know what to believe anymore. And it's called gaslighting, and it's called narcissistic behavior in relationships. And those will break you mentally if you continue to stay in them. These are children that were done like that with much more physical harm. Their minds are broke. They've been broken on purpose. They have multiple personalities on purpose. Most of them don't even have the proper hormones in their body for their brain to work properly. They've been screwed with so bad. So just keep praying for these people and keep praying for each other because we all going through a lot, seeing and knowing and doing. Just keep your head up and keep praying and be there for the ones that are waking up now.
You know, Jesus died on the cross and rose again for all of us. Both
But
seeds, he's trying to, bring back together all of us to come back to God. So none of us are pure bloods, okay? We all gotta know that and remember that God wants us all back.
Bible talks about when you find the truth. This isn't a quote, but when you find the truth, you find heartache and you find pain, and you find yourself crying in the corner in the bedroom. I know I've been there. I
Mm.
know I know Roxy's been there. I know Shannon has been there.
I was just there for
So
you.
yeah, you can go keep going back because you as you see more and more, you realize the depth of what this world really is. But what one thing that makes me feel better, to be honest, is that this world's going to do what it's going to do. But I'm here visiting and I'm watching and observing and I'm learning because we're here to wake up and to see these things and to learn what it means. And then we leave. They can't leave. They're bound here. They will never escape until the end of time when our Father decides when that is. They are bound here, like the spirits of the Nephilim and the demons and all these things. They're bound here. They will never leave. So therefore, they band together and they use their influence and their power and their money to try to maintain being kings upon the earth and continue to do their things that they do. But what they're doing is they're creating the chaos in the classroom that we are supposed to witness, and we are supposed to divide ourselves and rebuke and step away and turn away from these things. They're working for us and for our benefit, yet it doesn't seem that way, but that's what's happening. And so, no matter what, we should glorify our Father in heaven and thank Him for the experience and the opportunity to experience even the darkest corners of this world.
Well, I think that was beautifully said. And the main reason why God wanted me to call this channel Children of the Most High is because He is calling out to His children. And I'm so thankful for all of you who are here with us today. And I really hope that of the more and more of God's children start coming together more and telling God's truth and letting people know that that person that you're attracted to may not be a real person. The people that you interact with every day have a spirit behind it that's not for you. And it's important to keep an eye on that. Protect your DNA, protect your children, because these things are out there. And these video games are just training the kids to not even notice, like, this is normal. I cannot tell you how insane it is to me that there's this whole thing on social media where you act like an NPC like for hours and you get like these people are making bank, like stupid amounts of money for acting like an NPC on like TikTok or whatever. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
a
what
human robot.
world are we in that you want to pay somebody? I mean, they're all
Well,
out there. Just go find them.
I'm gonna give you my southern mama view of it. Somebody spared that rear end. Because when that child was growing up, they think that their way to make money is to stand in front of a camera, boobs out, butt showing, and act like a robot to make money. They were not told that you need to get out there and get your hands dirty and learn how to do something, learn a task or a skill. Ain't nobody took the belt to that youngin's rear end. And
And
I
what is
believe in
wrong?
spanking children. I
And
do.
what is wrong with the people who find that entertaining and want to actually put money towards that? Like, what is like, what's going
It's
on with
soft
you guys?
corn is what it is. I've seen this stuff on
It
TikTok.
tells you how many people are actually in the same morality mode in place in their minds as that person that's doing that. They want to be like that person, so they would like to emulate them, and they will. This world, it pays the most to the people who are the best liar, the best actor or deceiver, the best of what is the worst this world, the most materialistic, the ugliest this world has to offer is what the majority of people want to give their money to.
you know what's crazy to me is like, okay, about 5-10 years ago, in order to find that kind of content, you had to go on the dark web. Now it's just
Anymore.
right there. Like the dark
They
web
just
has
they,
merged
they
with
just
normal,
released the Epstein files. They just released the dark web right onto the
right? It's
where
like
everybody
it
can go there and
merged.
look.
Like there is no dark web. It's here. It's just
Makes me
you
wonder if
get
it's
on
a honey
here.
trap. Makes me wonder if it ain't maybe a honey trap.
I think a lot of honey traps are set on so many levels, which again, you know what? Since you brought that up,
I'll be back in 3 minutes, guys. Y'all go ahead.
since you brought that up, honey trap numero uno for every single one of you out there. Do not get involved in this ICE nonsense. You will be playing exactly into the hands of division
Or any of the protest stuff.
or any of it. Do not participate. It is
Nothing ever will
ritual,
change due to protest.
and it gives them fuel for this divide. They want the civil unrest. This is a contrived thing. So you may be upset with what's going on. You see that things are wrong. That righteous anger should not be, misguided.
That's what's
Okay.
called weaponized truth. Is when they want the people who are against it to argue and fight. They want the people who are for it to argue and fight. They want the fight to be there, the chaos, because that's how they are able to control the narratives and keep everybody divided is by doing these. And most of it is just simply for distraction
Exactly.
and keep people's eyes on that instead of keeping their eyes on our Father and realizing that none of this matters.
There is so much injustice that goes on in the world every single day, but you don't see that on your TikTok feed or whatever because they don't want you to see it. They want you to see this chaos. They want you to see these supposed injustices. Where, let me tell you, most of the stuff you see isn't even completely real because we all know AI has got its little hands and everything and can do it in real time.
And
So,
the protest buses, they bus them in from one city and they protest to here. Then they get back on the bus, they hand them out their stipend checks, and then they transfer them to the next hotel, do the next protest, and then they continue. There are people there literally you can have a career of being a protester, or another word for it is crisis actor. And you go and you participate, and they will pay you pretty decent and give you all your food and all your place to stage for free and your transportation from one location to the next. All you got to do is show up and act like an idiot.
and those who are not being paid, just your average person who's like, yeah, I'm going to go out there and say something. You're being filmed. They are taking note of you.
Now that's
All
the
those
honey trap.
little, see, that's what I'm saying, right? There's the honey trap. I know for a fact out in LA that they use the delivery robots during protests to go around and to film all of your faces.
hmm You know something too. Speaking about the filming and all this, that people don't realize, I think as well, and I didn't either, but I've been researching it. And that is, if you're in an area that has Wi-Fi, they already have your face. Wi-Fi has the ability uh, to to recognize facial features. Wi-Fi can see everything. When you're in your house and you have Wi-Fi on, it sees you walking around through the other rooms. It's listening to your conversation because your mouth is professing frequency. That is what Wi-Fi is based on. It hears every word, every conversation within the envelope of the coverage of the Wi-Fi and sees and watches everything you do. And at a protest, they can see everything and everything just with Wi-Fi. So the cameras are there too, but Wi-Fi, wireless Wi-Fi. If you have computers in your house, you really need to be trying to plug them in hardwire and turn off the Wi-Fi. I mean, seriously, guys, the Wi-Fi is much, much worse than what we even think, even right now, still, even after what I've said now, it's way worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
It can see everything. 5G, what have they talked about? Being able to see everything and all this kind of stuff. What they're doing is perfecting it down so that they can monitor the smallest possible things that are going on. They can see it all with the, and if you've got a phone on you, your phone has Wi-Fi. Anything that can receive can transmit. We know the phones are doing that as well. And your phone is monitoring everything around you within at least 30 feet. Okay. And so it knows that your husband is with you. It's listening to your conversations in the other end of the house when you're whispering because you think that no one's listening and you wanted to get away from the phone so it wouldn't hear. The mic can't hear it, but the Wi-Fi can.
Yep.
It's
It's
a warning.
interesting because I had come across a video a little bit ago where this guy put together how all this data collection, like what the real purpose of all of these little bits of data, because that seems to be more valuable to these people than any amount of gold, than anything. It's this data. This
Mm-hmm.
guy,
That's
this
what one thing Wi-Fi is collecting
right?
data.
This guy is proposing that this data collection is a data set to create that metaverse, to create the matrix within the matrix that they're trying to put our consciousness in. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was a very interesting point because when we go back to like Mall World and how we were talking about how we feel that was a training ground, and a lot of us, like, our experience was helping to build and create this metaverse in a bigger way. That makes absolute sense to me. So every little teeny bit of this data is helping to build these blocks for this technocracy, upload your consciousness to the cloud metaverse thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's creating it through every little bit of this data, like
Yeah.
building blocks.
And of course, they need great processing centers, which they're building. The Gateway AI and all that related stuff, the Golden Dome, all of this is related to building this artificial system. You back, Roxy?
I'm back. I was on a phone call. I apologize. Um,
Hmm.
there
I had
are
a question for you if I could remember what it was. Do you let's see if my brain can go back to it. I was holding on to it. Um
what you want to know about. I got all
yeah,
kind of new details I found.
yeah, I know, but I done forgot my question I had there for a second. But it'll come to me as soon as you start talking. So go ahead.
We talking about Stargates. I mean, I can show you where they at, how they work, what we can do with them, what's coming. Med beds
What
are
are
real.
what are they trying to bring in through the gateway? What are they trying to
And
communicate with? What are they? What is
they've
it?
already been using it. It just wasn't all this
That's good.
suspecting we've been doing of these Stargates being used and is it real? Yeah, they've been using them Stargates for years. It's just it,
You
all
see
the
all the stuff
conspiracy
that's on
theory
Star
we had
Trek.
was, huh?
I said, you see all the technologies that they depict on Star Trek and Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
The high majority of it exists today.
Okay, well, see, you know how I always take things from now and I go backwards. Future proves past.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go now and I go backwards, I have all different categories I do this with. Everything from disclosure of information to executive orders to social media drops at certain dates. When I see something in the past that now clicks with something in the future and I understand why that step was taken in the past, I then go back to that date and look at everything around it. The memes, the social media post, the official news, what was going on, all of that on that date particular. There's some stuff back in 2017 I found, and it was executive orders that were signed us to put us into military law in 2017. And if you'll go back and look at some of those executive orders, you'll see things being done. Next president undoes them. Next president does something different. Those executive orders have particular reasons that were done ahead of time to make sure other things were done. And there's one that was done so that secret tech had to be brought to the table. There are dark programs that have been working on tech that they've been in possession of for 100 years and have been perfecting, and we suspected it. We never had any knowledge. Let me give you a little information about that TRB3. Okay. This device, the technology was found back in the early 1900s. There are two cylinders inside of this thing which spin at great force. A radioactive material called cerium is put in it, which is red mercury and some other chemicals. Exactly like we had talked about before, if you take red mercury and you mix it and you put it in a washing machine, that washing machine is going to levitate when it goes on the spin cycle. It is anti gravity. Okay, this anti-gravity plasma propulsion system that they've got in there can do Mach 2 at the blink of an eye and make a 90-degree turn with no injury to the soldiers that are driving the craft. It can hover in place or it can do a 90-degree turn at Mach 2, your choice. That's been here for years.
Yeah,
Red,
I
red
agree.
mercury is a very interesting substance, and it has been used for a lot of things. And I know, like, a while back ago, Daniel and I went on this whole rabbit hole of like the Tartaria stuff. There was this one content provider who just really went into depth with it. And there's just this whole thing about red mercury, and there's a lot of lore behind it, and occultic mystery behind
Well,
red mercury.
there are a lot of chemicals that you've been told, "Oh, no, don't touch that, it's dangerous," or "That doesn't exist," or "That doesn't exist anymore," or
Like
that there's no.
radiation, how they claim the nuclear radiation and stuff is
Well,
all
there
this
are.
fear.
Alright, well, when you look at all that glass, this is the simplest way I know to put it. The carnival glass and the radium glass that glows. Each one of those glasses, there's some that glows green, there's some that glows blue. Those had health benefits. Those weren't for no reason. That's old tech. There are all kind of chemicals out there. Radium. Alright, if you go look at these Tartarian type homes, that some of them 13 families own, very, very old homes. There's a couple of things you're going to find in there. The fireplace does not take wood, it does not take gas. There's a thing called radium. You can take a chunk of radium about the size of a box of salt and heat your house for a month. If that was here, you wouldn't need electricity. They're not going to show you that.
I have a suspicion that this red mercury, which I believe is linked to vampires, has something to do with, again, it's like black goo, where it's got to be some substance from these ancient giants, that it has some kind of thing that these vampires still have within their blood, because things that you find with red mercury is it's repelled by garlic. It does not show a reflection in the mirror. It is attracted to gold. It has a lot of very interesting properties that when you look into the lore of vampires, you can't see their reflection. They're repelled by garlic. Gotta get your garlic on. Us
And if
Italians, we're set.
anybody out there don't think that vampires are real, you can go ahead and tell me that I'm as crazy as the day is long, but I'm gonna tell you to go look up one person, Peter Nygaard. He is above and beyond any depravity you've ever seen in those Jeffrey files. Go look at him. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's enough information out there without going to Epstein files that I can tell you his preferred is young African American babies. He actually gets mothers in the ghetto and buys their babies.
Do you all remember Kinsey?
Kinsey?
Dr. Kinsey. They a while back ago, they had a film with Liam Neeson in it, like praising Kinsey. Basically, he was the one who wrote these books about, sexual stuff back in the 50s when it was like really taboo. He had an entire, he had a scientific crew to test all these out scientifically. He had a lot of praise throughout these years. They've been pushing Kinsey a lot. And then you find out that along with his experiments, he had an ex-Nazi working for him to experiment with babies. So knowing what he was specializing in and babies, just know. And that was documented and recorded for scientific purposes. They praise this man.
They praise a lot of these men.
A lot of the stuff that we get,
okay.
A lot of the stuff that we have now in place with things in the LGBT blah 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 and all of those things come directly from Kinsey's work. So he's not a good guy.
Bye, Wayne. Wayne says he's leaving. Thank you for coming, Wayne.
Especially since we're early.
Yeah. Shannon's got some things to do, and I got some things I'm gonna do this afternoon. It's kind of my day off with no kiddo responsibilities today. I don't get many of those anymore, which is okay, but I don't get many. So I'm gonna take a Nana day. I'm gonna go hang out in my greenhouse with the heater on and just be Nana for a minute. Radio blaring, because I gotta take my eyes off of this for a minute, guys. I was kind of glad we had an early show today, because I've been down some deeper holes the past few days. Yeah. And it gets to the point that I'll just say this. The 13 we thought were in control are not even the beginning.
In the beginning, not even.
No, I got a whole different set of names for you, and y'all get ready for them. Just let me know. The stargates are everywhere. Med beds are coming. Currently they have the tech that's going to be released that can transport me from here to California in an afternoon to see Shannon instead of a 12-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
The things we have researched and found in all of our journeys over the past years was just the beginning for us. And we have to learn to take this in digestible bites of the new things we learn, just like the sleepers are doing now. Yeah. So we need to pray for each other, because your rabbit holes have only just begun. But we got to speak up. We got to say something. We can't just let this crap keep on sliding, because that's been the problem. For too long, we've been too quiet.
In April, when Roxy comes out, we're going to come out with some very explosive information. Some things that are just 100% definitive proof of a lot of the things that we've been saying. I am going to be putting it into a presentation so it will be easily understood and shared. But
wait a minute, I got to cut the camera on for this. Who's going to do the presentation, Shannon?
I am actually going to try and work on it.
I know.
This is my goal. And this is part of the journey that God is told me I signed up for. So, this girl will learn some tech stuff here. I got to. Plus, I have really good news in the upcoming future, probably in the next 6 months. My producer and I and our team are going to have like a real massively just high tech, awesome studio for music and podcasts and things like that. And I gotta I gotta earn my keep and take some classes and get on this tech because I will be working for them. If you're listening, Costas, I will be working for you. So I'll have more of this tech stuff down and try and get more of this on a professional level, you know. So say some prayers for this to go through because it's huge. It's going to be in Laguna Beach, which is literally one of my all-time favorite places on the planet. And it's just a beautiful miracle because we'll be able to get more of our information out there to you guys in a better way. So
Well, and just a quickie before I forget to tell you, Shannon, yesterday when I was, because y'all, I'm trying to find a flight and all of this stuff to get out to California, trying to book it now, because it'll just get more expensive as I wait. I actually found an Airbnb yesterday that had a small studio built into it. So when I'm there for the whole week, I would have a studio. I wouldn't be without. Yeah.
we get to sit together in the same room.
In the same room. Yeah. Not a cartoon.
Girl, don't be surprised if I have my Daphne costume.
We're gonna have costumes, just FYI. It's gonna be a full on cameras on, full costume Daphne and Velma. When I get there.
Oh, excited.
We're stupid, I know, but you gotta have fun.
Hey,
You
just
gotta
like I
laugh.
said yesterday, I cannot tell you how just rejuvenating that was to my being.
It's like that when me and Roxy get together.
I just like I haven't had an experience like that in so long because even when you hang out with friends and you try and cut loose, play some games or whatever, it's just not the same. You're still adult Shannon right there, But
Well, and
literally,
it makes a difference too when the person you're with having this fun with, you don't have any guards up with that person because that person's intention is 100% pure. That
exactly.
authenticity with you and you with another person will dictate the level of the joy and happiness you feel out of a situation. Because if you constantly feel like that person has an agenda or they're lying to you or there's always something around the corner and the shoe's about to drop, you stop having fun with people like that because you're always on guard. And if I got to always be on guard with you and watch for the knife in my back or you sticking out your foot to trip me, you might as well be gone. Bye. I got other things to do. I just can't.
Mhm.
Right?
Uh-uh.
I got a little message for Mike Smith.
Okay.
Uh, I feel like I should tell him that he needs to eat things that are in the image of the lungs, and don't throw away the seeds. That's the genetic material that your body needs. The fruit that's on it is the lure that God put on it, but the seed is what you need, and it being in the image of the air sacs in your lungs, such as like raspberries and grapes, and you need to take the seeds and you need to make sure they're cracked. And you don't have to chew them up. You just need to make sure they're broke open and swallow them. That's the message I just heard while I was stepped away for just a minute. So
Amen.
there you have that.
Amen.
That's I believe it. We're supposed to eat things that are in the image of things where our problems are at, and we're supposed to eat the genetic material that is in the seed. We throw away the seeds so much. What were we trained to do as kids growing up? Throw away the seed.
Mhm.
Don't eat that. Throw it away. Don't bust open a peach seed, crack it open, and get the material that's in there and eat it. Don't do that. It's poison. Even things like that. Genetics is extremely important, and it's the way to rebuild things within our bodies where we have problems.
And another thing, we need to start making sure I know we say preserving for our children, but we need to be preserving some things for the generations coming behind us. Because, like we know, history is just his story. And if the him who was his that told that story was constructing lies and fabrications, the ones that come behind us will have to dig for the truth too. So let's leave them a better roadmap than the ones before us.
Well, and this is a big part of our network is archiving this information too for those who are, left behind us. So
We have
it
to be able to get it out because they can flip a switch and it'll all disappear in a day. And the idea struck me is to put it on DVDs and make it available for people. And I have actually, but I haven't had any takers yet on the website. But I've only mentioned it once, so I'm not very good at promoting stuff. But yeah, we need to. It's amazing, really, to be honest, that even the passages that we do have and the books that we do have in the Bible even still exist. Because we know they've done book burning. We know that they've had places where they burned the Bible. We know that, but yet it still exists. And there's people who say, "Well, it was written by man." Yeah, a man wrote it down. That's for sure. But what I do is I look at what it says and I read what it says, and is it righteous? Is it leading me in a direction that is a righteous path? And I go through the Bible, and the high majority that I have discerned in the Bible tells me that it is righteous. There
well,
are things about the Bible that people don't realize because I think it's been altered in ways that confuse some things, and or maybe it was done that way intentionally so that it would only be figured out by some. Like, for instance, I've said before, there are two gods in the Bible, and sometimes in the Bible it doesn't tell you which God it's talking about, because you can find it easily if you start looking at some of the kings of the past and what they did. Like, according to what I know and understand, the Father in heaven does not like idols. He does not like the worshiping of gold and silver and the building of temples and the sacrificing of flesh and things like this. Yet in the Older Testament, there's plenty of stories in there that do talk about that. And like Solomon, he built the temple, and it was so immaculate. At least the descriptions of it, it's like, did God flip flop? I can't, I can't understand it. Did God flip flop? That he went from wanting a temple built for him, made out of the finest everything, and he had a king, Solomon, that was working with all the demons of the earth in order to build this temple. Yet these demons were still, in a lot of cases, still out destroying men, and they came in, and even in the Testament of Solomon, one of the books of Solomon, it talks about how he meets with all these demons and how he controlled them using symbolism, and how he controlled them and made them lift the stones into place and all these kind of things to build the temple. So if the
mind you,
temple of
though,
God is being built by demons,
mind you, though, there's a purpose because he asked God for wisdom. And in the end, when he dies, he laments and repents to God, saying, I should have asked for the heart to go with the wisdom. It was a lesson. He was given that sigil by the archangel Michael himself. So
mhm,
God allowed that. So
God allows all things.
the God, a lot of the times that maybe referenced in that Old Testament, I mean, is the God of this world. But in truth, like
That's what
every
I
bit
wonder,
of
is if
this
it's the
is
God of this world.
infallible, because when you look into original covenant was with the books of Adam and Eve. This is why I encourage all of you to read the books of the Apocrypha, because there's so much more information in there on what all this really is. And in that original covenant, it was to show them, it's like it's a series of, it's a journey for man to learn what the original sin and fall all was about, and how he was going to always have himself in the flesh of Jesus come to take on that. It all leads to this. Every single bit of that leads to that salvation moment of him coming back and taking it from us. And now it's that journey of, do you accept it? Are you willing to finally come back into God's world? Are you finally ready to be with me for eternity?
So maybe that's what he sent Solomon through, were those through that for his path, his
Right.
his experience, this kind of thing. But it's, and I'm not saying this is as God says, okay? I can't. I mean, I'm thinking out loud. We're all sitting around the coffee table here, kind of, and it's like he was listening and dealing with one God. I mean, and doing things like building the temple, but yet, like you said, in the end, he repented and everything. But uh, it's like he was building that temple for the God of this world, you know. And because Solomon, he was the originator of the Freemasons. Am I right?
I would That's kind of hard to say. I mean, if you were to discount, before the flood and things along those lines, and of course Jezebel and all of that, I would say that that was already founded. He's one of them. Like, there's Hiram Abiff, there's Solomon, there's a few characters
Oh yeah.
in the creation of it, and of course Egyptian stuff and all of that. So I would say he's like one of the ones they obsess over, but I wouldn't say he was the founder specifically. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Mm, I can go with that. How about all the temples of this world, whether it be an Islamic temple or a Catholic temple or I forget the name of the religion in India. Okay, but yeah,
Hinduism.
Hinduism. Okay, and no disrespect to anyone here. You're actually sitting at a table where we ask questions and talk about anything, and we don't get mad or we don't
Oh,
get upset with each other because we're all seeking what? The ultimate truth. So we have to explore all things.
exactly.
And so all these the temples that are built now, most of us could pick one of those religions I mentioned and probably allege that their God was not the God of heaven, the Father, the Most High. Whichever one you want to choose out of those and the other 200 that exist, or actually more than that, a lot more religions than that. I've I've come to the understanding that religion is a man-made thing, and I don't consider myself religious. I consider myself uh, a child of the Most High, or um, a spiritual person, But when you start putting labels on yourself, it builds division. Because if I say that I am Baptist, or if I say I am Catholic, or if I say I'm Muslim, or whatever it is, if I say that, then a lot of baggage comes with that immediately. And there's already a built-in division between that and the other religion, or this other religion, because all of them have their God and they believe that God is the God. Yet at the same time, there is only one God. Now, there is a God of this world, but there is also the God of heaven, the creator of all things, our Father in heaven. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I guess it's linking back to my original statement being more than one God in the Bible kind of thing, where these temples are continued to be built. And I realized yesterday when I was doing my show yesterday, in the show I was doing, I don't know if y'all guys seen this part, but the, the temple that's in the uh, the video I picked up, where the three stealth aircrafts come in and they blow up this temple looking thing. I realized that it might actually not be a temple exactly. It is, but it's not a declared temple. Okay. Did y'all guys see that at all on yesterday? I know.
I watched a little bit of
I
it.
watched most of it, yeah.
I mean, I could show it to y'all guys if you want to see it. I've got it up on my screen here, but the temple looks exactly like a nuclear reactor, or what's claimed to be a nuclear reactor in Iran. And it looks just like it. I mean, and I've been able to locate it on 3 different maps and looking at different things. They're building several of them there, and they're currently talking about right now. You can pull up about just typing like Google Iran strike, and they're literally talking about striking that building and other infrastructure that's in the same neighborhood and the same area of Iran. So,
This is why, to me, well, I wouldn't even say to me. This is the truth of this film, I Pet Goat 2. It is run by AI. It is literally the demonic realm showing you what is happening in this process before the pit opens. And I literally have definitive proof of this, guys, which is part of what I will be sharing in April. But when when we know this, they are showing you exactly what they're going to do. Real things along those lines. There is no way that the Notre Dame building literally would fall exactly like this imagery in I Pet Goat 2 if it wasn't literally created by the demonic realm. And so I just wanted to say this out loud. Like, there's so many times we have all gone in and decoded this film. And I think it's really important to really make sure you armor up, and from now on, like anytime I bring this film up, I'm going to fair warn you guys that when you see this, you are dealing with demonic spirits, and they do interact with you in real time as this plays out. So just keep that in mind. And this is to say about a lot of things that are out there in the entertainment world that you watch in your own home. But this one is a very powerful ritual that has been promoted or created by these beings. And so I just want to I just really want to put that disclaimer out there, because sometimes we don't realize, as much as we're digging into these things, how much influence that can get out into people who are not protected. So I just take that with a grain of salt, take it to God and discernment. I just felt like I needed to say that.
in other words, we really need to be careful watching what we're
Right.
watching,
We got,
especially when children are around and people that aren't ready to be
You
doing it.
couldn't have been more on point with what I have on my phone at the moment.
right. What's that?
Well, I thought today, as we talk about myth and reality, I'm going to give you the truth behind a famous cartoon, book, show, story that all of us, especially little girls, have heard for years. Snow White.
Mm.
Mirror, mirror
seven
on the
and the
wall.
7 Loompa Loompas.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. That was not her stepmother. That was her mother.
Her mother, her real
That
mother.
was her mother, who had ordered her biological daughter to be killed so she could ingest the child and eat her to make her look younger.
Mhm.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? This was after she murdered and drank her own child. So
Or
be
she,
careful, even the fairy tales you tell your children are based off of this.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
But
Although it doesn't say mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all anymore, according to current videos. If you go
yeah,
out and try to pull it up.
Mandela nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna tell you now, from now on, if I ever bring up this, if I show you any imagery of any kind from this film, I will first off show you exactly what's running it and what's in it, so you know before you even go further into any of it. Because if you don't know and it's trapped in your subconscious, I say this all the time, then it is embedded in your subconscious. It affects your everyday actions, your thoughts, all of that stuff until you bring it to the conscious level so you can actually work it through and process it. Then it cannot touch you. So that's just what I wanted to say.
Yep.
All right, well, we got to end this on some giggles. We've been so blah all show. Like this, me and Shan, it's a whole lot of blah. Like we got an hour and a half of us not giggling and laughing.
Well, I'm going to leave then.
No, you need to giggle and laugh with us. Come on. We know it's there. The
No,
joy of the Lord.
it's good. It's wonderful.
It's the joy of the Lord. That's
Well,
right.
we don't have a whole lot to cut up with tonight. We're all kind of in a darker place, even though we knew a lot of this stuff was already there and was coming out, and we knew it, but it's there was still that 1% in the back of your brain that said, God, maybe I'm really wrong. Maybe the world is not this horrific and evil, and maybe it's not. And now we that one millionth of a percent of hope that this evil wasn't real has been dispelled. It is there. It is on the table. The proof is in the pudding, and the receipts are there to be counted.
And I think they're really bringing this out in the forefront because now it's time that you actually have to make a real choice. That's the one thing that God has given us is choice. That's the one thing. And that's not what Satan wants. Satan doesn't want to give you a choice, although he is bound to do so. So now that it is in the consciousness realm, it is time for you to make your choice. You cannot serve two masters.
It's time.
It's time. Now is the choice making time.
Yeah, listen, I keep having this recurring nightmare that I'm on a bus, and I've told Shannon about them, and I keep having these bus dreams, and there's lots of buses, and me and Shannon's hanging out the door, and we're like, "Come on, everybody, get on the bus. This is where safety is. Get on the bus." And then there's this one horrible dream where everybody on the bus has a seatbelt on, and the only way you can undo your seatbelt is if you're awakened and you have repented and you have taken tally of you and come to account for the things you have done in your life. You have forgiven the trespasses of others that have trespassed against you, because you cannot ask that man upstairs for forgiveness for something you cannot give.
Right.
And you have to give it purely, and you have to give it wholehearted. But my
Yeah.
nightmare is that some people aren't going to get this seatbelt undone before we run off the cliff. The cliff is coming. Be prepared.
Yeah. You know what? I would like to end this broadcast with the the prayer that Jesus himself told you to pray when the apostles asked, how do we pray? How do we really pray? This was his answer. And every single line of this prayer is so very important. So I'm going to recite this prayer and we'll end the show. I know it may not be with a giggle, but it's with the power of God. So,
And we love you anyway.
That's right. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Or no, sorry. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Oh no, see? I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. Let me start that over. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry, guys. Our Father,
There's don't feel no pressure now.
right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from the evil one. Amen.
Amen.
I had to close my eyes. But that in itself, that's from Jesus's words. If you ever have a hard time maybe praying, to yourself and you need something to fall back on that's real and true, that's the one prayer that I'll go to. And I know that, there's some stigma with it, with the Catholic Church and things along those lines, but that's the one prayer that Jesus said. So
Thank you for coming, guys. It was a good show. Thank you, Daniel, for being with us today. Tolerating when we try not to be too goofy on you.
We'll do I'll do Roxy's show next, and then I'm scheduled here in about a couple weeks. I'm going to be on evolutionary energy arts on their show, and I'm going to go through the entire body code, start in the head, and show them all the portals on their bodies and what it means. And they ain't heard it yet. And I told them a little bit of it one time in that conversation. They were like, oh.
Right, like what?
It's like Clayton. When Clayton texts me, sometimes I'm like, dude, I got to slow down and get 2 notepads because you just put a blister when that went skirt right by the side of my head. I got to slow down and read that again.
Yes, Clayton. Clayton, if you're listening, you're a genius.
He's back at work. He was taking
well, I hope you hear this later. But you know what? I appreciate so much that you came on my show today, Daniel. It means the world to me because, you're my ride or die, just like Roxy, and we need to do more of this stuff together. And if I got to do some stuff in the morning, I don't mind.
That's the whole purpose of the network. And I kind of sprung y'all guys a surprise yesterday a little bit. I apologize, but I've been struggling with this thing of the Supernatural Show Network, and then somehow tying that to the building of the body of Christ and all this. And so I've been pondering it for weeks. And ultimately what I decided is that it's to keep it named the Supernatural Show Network it feels egoish to me. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new channel that's called the Body of Christ Network, and it's not going to be monetized, and the stream keys will be given to everybody that joins the network, and they can simulcast to that and be part of that body, that network through that. And the Supernatural Show and Logical Before Authority, Children of the Most High, the Roxy Files, Evolutionary Energy Arts, and Jesse Howes, and
And
uh,
hopefully Jesus Free
and
Computer Geek
David,
will help.
Jesus Freak Computer Geek, and
I'm
there's
so
a good little number of other ones that are out there that are, I think we'll end up joining, and there'll be more, but it takes time because I don't want to build this like I've been taught how to build things in this world, because you end up building something that's based on ego, it's based on desire for credit or money or something, and I don't want nothing to do with that when it comes to what we're trying to build. So I hope y'all guys will forgive me for changing it, but I have sent everyone involved a email earlier with the new logos that you can, if you choose, because it is your choice, to use it like you were using the Supernatural Show Network before. I figured it's better to change it now than to get 20, 30, 50 network members in and then decide to change it. It's better to do it now. And I just want all the credit to go to the Father and the body of Christ. So, with that being said, thank you for having me on your show, Shannon.
You're so very welcome. And hey, guys, we love you. We're so glad you came to hang out with the children of the Most High today. And I just, I just cannot tell you how amazing it is, again, to just go out and play. Take some time, go be you, be free, and don't let all of the darkness in this world stamp out your light. Rejuvenate with God out and outside, and be free.
And
Because
keep your switchblade handy. If you don't want to tote a knife, tote a stick. But have something to whop a fool with if he needs it. We're
one
not
thing you
playing them
can
games.
one thing you can whop a fool with is the word of God.
That's
When
right.
you
Yes.
when you get very used to being able to profess it, when you speak it amongst evil people, they will freeze. They will not even. They will look at you like you're a demon.
Well, now the switchblade and the stick is for like if they're coming at you. The
Yeah,
stick may be more appropriate because you could probably stun them and you give them some word of God. But we got to slow them down because they're coming at me. So
tap them
I
on
gotta
the
whack a mole. I gotta whack a mole. Then
tap
I'll
them
talk
on
to
the
you
head a
about
couple
God.
times. Boop boop.
Yeah. Then we
I
talk about God.
also wanted to say this and give a shout out to some very special content creators that I have, have a lot of reverence for. And they are not necessarily part of our network or anything, but they definitely deserve a shout out. And if any of you guys want to check out their stuff, they are truly Holy Spirit filled. And so I wanted to say thank you to Jonathan Kleck first and foremost. I know he can be a controversial character on the scene, but he is an amazing Holy Spirit filled man who walks with God. And I just wanted to say thank you, Jonathan Kleck, for your guidance throughout these years. Casey with Enter the Stars, we love you. You're brilliant. You deserve to be heard, and you just have a heart of gold. Um, I'm trying to think. Celeste Solemn, who I've had the amazing ability to actually speak with, and we've had on our show. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out with your truth and your experience, because you saved my life on so many levels coming out of what I went through. I just appreciate and love you so very much. Thank you, Jesus Freak Computer Geek, who also we've had the pleasure to have a part in, and on a personal level. An amazing Holy Spirit filled man, brilliant, and he has so much information to share on the truth of what AI is. And again, if you haven't picked up his book, please check out The Incoming Flood of AI, the Spirits of the Nephilim. I probably got that title wrong again. And
The flood
also
of the
The Flood of AI. And thank you, Daniel, for Logic Before Authority, because you helped to save me on a lot of levels too and open my eyes. And now we get to work together, and it's just so freaking amazing. And I just wanted to say thank you. So, to those specific content providers, I cannot talk. Oh, and also a call for an uprising. I love you too. And you keep going. And Richie from Boston. Okay. All right. I just had to say thank you to those guys because you guys have all been at it for so long. Daniel's been doing this for like almost 20 years. You know, these guys have been out here for a long time speaking the truth. So check them out, man. They're amazing. Okay. All right. I'm off my soapbox. I love you guys. Have anything else to say, Roxy?
Nope. Love you. Bye.
Bye.